Ricky Lambert's back with me. And Ricky, you've been an expert when it comes to the discussion about water. You've done a lot of investigation on the Murray-Darling Basin. And this week there is a really important meeting that is taking place, which is the backdrop of what I want to discuss with you about the shortage of the buybacks.
Yeah, our concern at Flow News 24 is that governments are going to sleepwalk their way towards the end of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. And also we've had a La Nina water system at the moment, plenty of rainfall compared to an El Nino situation. When El Nino's on, suddenly everyone panics about the Basin Plan, but no one seems to think about doing the hard work right now when we've got plenty of water and how we actually get to those targets. And in two states, we've got big problems.
Okay, New South Wales firstly. The plan that seems to indicate that if we get more water down the Darling into the Murray system, we would be able to meet a bit more of New South Wales's requirements. The problem is that would mean that the big lake at Medindie, that is the Medindie Lakes, which are between, if you like, Broken Hill and the River Murray, and the Darling system, the storage there, they believe that if they close down the main lake, dry it up completely, that they would be able to meet more of New South Wales's targets. But that would mean a problem for the locals at Medindie.
Yeah, they'd be very, very unhappy. They are very, very unhappy about this proposal to dry out permanently the Medindie Lake so that less evaporation will happen in that locality. It's not popular, and the New South Wales government is finding it incredibly hard to get a commitment to secure the water that needs to be recovered in the state. They've built a permanent pipeline now so that from the main channel so water can get to Broken Hill. So they've removed that water supply element for Lake Medindie. So that means they've got an excuse to close it off, but it's very hard for them to achieve that locally.
Okay, heading to Northern Victoria, there is a new VFF Water Council Chair, Andrew Leahy, and he says that he's going to fight hard for farmers there and that there is some significant shortages in Victoria's ability to do this. There is, in fact, a 200 gigalitre shortage from Northern Victoria, which, if they were to be forced by the Commonwealth through buybacks or flooding to actually take those farmers out of commission, that would mean that the Victorian farmers would be lost to farming because there just simply wouldn't be any water in those areas.
Yeah, the worst case scenario here is you see further shrinkage of irrigation districts in Victoria and New South Wales. He has said that the big problem with some of the most important projects are that they are being strongly rejected by the community. He says that we know today that constraint relaxation projects, bit of jargon there, but we'll come through to that in a minute. He says these projects cannot be implemented because community members oppose it. They don't want to have their land flooded. And that's one of the constraints that they're trying to remove is the ability to move water through as and when the Basin Authority and the water authorities want to. And that will mean sometimes farmers will have some of their land flooded. And even the Victorian government has come back to me this morning, and we're pursuing comment from other state governments and ministers throughout the day today on Flow News 24. They have said to me, look, we accept that there are problems. We're not going to flood people's properties without their consent, but they need thousands of signatures to allow this flooding to occur, and at the moment they've only got a couple of dozen.
Okay, there's a meeting of the Ministerial Council this Thursday. Now, Mr. Leahy is urging the ministers to put off, if you like, this deadline of 2024 because 605 gigalitres is simply not going to get met.
Yeah, that's the problem here, is that the New Victoria and New South Wales governments are both saying we need more time. The South Australian government and the federal government are saying, no, you've committed to get to a 2024 deadline. If you haven't got there by then, well, I'm sorry, we may have to open up buyback. So that's what it's going to be quite a robust meeting, this water ministers meeting. If the Victorian and New South Wales ones are going to stand up for their states, they need to be asking for more time. The trouble is creating more time in the Basin Plan requires going back to the Parliament in Canberra, going back to the Senate, which has got Greens and independent senators from South Australia in it. And I don't think you'll find that they're going to be able to legislatively amend the Basin Plan. So they're in a real conundrum. Victoria and New South Wales, they need to fix this up fast.
And that becomes the question that we're going to address as an ongoing discussion, the Basin Plan. And we'll get some more information out of this ministerial meeting on Thursday and bring that to you here on The Morning Show. Thanks, Ricky.